So, hello to everyone. Today I'm going to be interviewing Mariella, who invented the ASL plugin for Disney Plus. So, I just let her to describe in her own words what the process is.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. So I have built Sign Up Captions, which is a Google Chrome extension that provides sign language interpretation on Disney Plus films and soon to be other streaming platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime. So how it works is you kind of go on the streaming platform as normal and start watching your movie, and then you'd launch Sign Up, and a small interpreter box would show up in the corner signing the movie. And this is especially for deaf individuals, but specifically deaf kids we're focusing on right now, who can't necessarily read captions at all or fast enough, but they can understand sign perfectly. So this is a way for deaf kids especially to enjoy Disney films.
Okay, so would you say that ASL has more advantage for people who are wholly deaf rather than just hearing impaired? Yeah, or what would you describe as the best?
I think anyone who's interested in sign language, I think sign language is equally useful for profoundly deaf and hard of hearing individuals, as well as hearing people who are just learning sign language like me. I think it can really benefit everyone.
Yeah, I get you. Do you have anyone do you know who is hearing impaired or deaf that inspired you to make it, or what was the inspiration for it?
The inspiration for it was when I started learning sign language 2 years ago. And with that, I started learning about deaf culture and speaking to members of the deaf community. And I really quickly realized that closed captions don't work for everyone, even though they're kind of the gold standard for accessibility. They don't work for a huge number of people.
Mm.
Um, and then after that, I spent about a year researching the idea, having focus groups of deaf adults and then deaf children, as I decided I want it to be more for kids' movies. Um, and here we are.
Yeah, interesting. So what would you say would be why you chose ASL specifically? Is it because it's just the predominant version, or the predominant sign, or what would you say?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it is the predominant sign language in the world. It's just the one I started learning. I'm from the US, so
Okay.
it just made the most sense to learn American Sign Language. And obviously, a ton of people do use it. So that's kind of the deaf community I connected with. But we are launching a British Sign Language version, Indo-Pakistani, and Auslan, the Australian Sign Language, this year.
Oh, yeah. Was the actual process in making it, like making the plugin work?
Yes, this was quite tricky. So at the beginning, I was funding this just with money I made dog walking. So obviously the budget was extremely tight. But I hired quite cheap developers just on a freelancing website to get the basic idea down. It didn't look great, but the functionality was there. And for a few months, I just had one interpreter interpreting movies. Um, so it was quite slow going at the beginning, but as it gained more popularity, donations started coming in, and it was a lot easier to, hire a bigger tech team. And I think now we have 100 interpreters. So it's really grown since the beginning.
Okay, yeah, actually. So how did you keep that funded? Is it entirely through the goodwill of others, or is there some sort of like way you're making money through this?
We are not making any money at the moment. So it's self-funded, and then we're crowdfunding on GoFundMe and Just Giving. And I'm also raising a seed round at the moment of $1 million. So I'm looking for investors, and that will help fund it, more sustainably.
I get you. That's a lot for, but how much? Where would that money be going towards then?
The two main costs are really the interpreters and the tech team. So just more of the same, really. And
Okay.
this obviously gets more expensive the more sign languages we launch in, um,
Uh,
and the more streaming platforms we launch on as well.
Yeah, how is there any difficulty in going from the different streaming platforms? Is there any like code things you have to overcome when you're starting in them?
Um, as far as I know, we haven't had any trouble getting on the streaming platforms because we are an add-on, so we're not kind of changing Disney's website, for example. We're just layering a video on top of it, so it's not too difficult, I don't think.
Oh, okay, yeah. Um, so do you know anyone in your family or otherwise who were hearing impaired, or was it just solely you thought it would be interesting to add that plugin once you realized?
There is a history of hearing loss in my family, but no one has learned how to sign. So there wasn't
Oh.
really a connection to sign language, apart from that I just wanted to learn it. Um, yeah.
Are you planning on using anything from the fact that it's Disability Pride Month? Are you planning on using that as a sort of platform to get funding or any sort of awareness for hearing impairment?
Sorry, could you repeat the first bit of that question?
Sorry,
Really?
since it's Disability Pride Month, are you planning on using that as a kind of springboard for like getting more funding or attention towards the issues?
Yes, definitely. I would love to do that. We are doing hopefully a big social media campaign for Disability Pride Month. And I'm hoping that that will kind of get the word out to more people about sign up, and then as well the seed round and get it to more investors.
Have you ever thought about looking into other forms of disability like audio descriptions? Because I don't think Netflix or any of those like will do audio descriptions, or very limited at the very least.
Oh, I didn't actually know that. I thought Netflix did offer that.
I,
Um,
I I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it, but I feel like it's at the very least fairly drawn back.
yeah, I think at least on the Netflix shows I watch, they just have an English audio description. So it could be interesting to start offering that in other languages through sign up.
Mm.
Um, but right now we're really focusing on sign languages, I'd say.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get you. So how many films or shows have you managed to cover at this point?
I think we have about 50 films, and then some seasons of TV shows coming out, like Stranger Things and Money Heist. Um, so quite a lot of content. Yeah.
What was the sort of focus? Were you focusing like children's movies specifically, or what was just anything that you could manage to do, basically?
Yes, I definitely wanted to focus on kids to start with, because with the focus groups, there are lots of parents of deaf kids who um, kind of needed it the most, I'd say. Like the most votes were for children's content. So we focused on that. Um, and now we're moving into more teen and grown up content as we launch on Netflix. Because as we've got going, there's more and more requests for kind of an older audience um, as well. So I think we'll just do kind of every type of content. So there's something for everyone. But for a while, we were just doing kids' movies.
Have you ever managed to get in contact with anyone working in Disney Plus or anything like that to try and see if you could make it like an automatic plugin that like once you download the app, it's installed? Or
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I did reach out to Disney as I was formulating the idea. They didn't respond. I think it could be worth reaching out to them again and seeing if we could embed fully rather than being a plugin. But an official partnership we do have is PBS Kids, which is quite a big public broadcasting network in the US.
yeah,
Um,
no,
so,
no, yeah.
yeah.
So that would be, are they just going to like work you into it, or are they going to provide actual funding towards your work?
Yes, I think they are going to fund it for their platform. Yes, and we're doing a pilot scheme with them for a few popular episodes.
Oh, cool. So how many is that going to involve then?
I think a season of a TV show. I think they're thinking Daniel Tiger, which I'm not familiar with, but it's one of their most popular shows. It's kind of for younger,
Or-
I think 6 and below.
oh, okay. Yeah. Um, so just is your plan in the future just onward and upward, basically getting more and more stuff in, or what's the
Yes,
plan?
exactly. I think we're so behind with the amount of content that's come out in the past, I don't know, 40 years that it's going to take such a long time to catch up. There's 500 movies on Disney Plus um, in the US, so that alone will take forever. So to do other countries and other streaming platforms, it's going to take a while, but I'm excited to see it happen.
How many signers do you have working with you at the moment?
We have about 100 interpreters at the moment, and that those are mainly based in the UK and the US right now.
Okay. So is the signers and the coders, are they the only people, or who else is involved in the process of getting it all up?
We have some social media content creators who do, a few reels and a few posts. We have someone who manages the interpreter, all the interpreters, and then a CTO who kind of is the head of the technology, and then kind of a dozen engineers below him. And I think that's everyone.
Do you have any sort of central like operation location, or how are you all doing this over like calls?
Yes, everyone is remote. I haven't actually met anyone who's been working on
Uh,
sign up, which is quite weird. Um, but yeah, we have people in so many different states in the US and obviously different countries around the world. Um, yeah, it's quite amazing.
yeah. So how's this been with getting attention towards the actual product itself, or has it been like easier? It's been a difficult enough road towards it.
I'd say I've been quite lucky. Overnight, we went viral, and we had 25,000 people on our website
Oh,
just by
wow.
posting in a few deaf Facebook groups. And with that came articles, and they've just kept up, they've been keeping on coming, all organically, which I didn't know was going to happen. I thought I'd have to hire PR agency and everything, but it's all organic, which I'm really lucky with, I think.
Okay. So you're paying the interpreters, I'm guessing, yeah, for the actual work.
Yes, yeah, we've always paid the interpreters. Yeah.
Fantastic. What was the first sort of round of movies that you did with your when you set up the plugin? Or can you remember?
Um, the first movies we did um, were just kind of the biggest ones, really, like Moana, Frozen, Toy Story, um, The Lion King, so kind of classics, and the newer, really popular ones.
Mm. Yeah, it sounds like an interesting sort of thing to get into. What was it? So have you been able to even try with reaching out to the other places with Netflix or Amazon or any of those? Have you been able to try get in contact with them, or has that also been kind of wasteland for work?
No, I'm definitely going to contact them as we start launching in more streaming platforms. And I think it might be easier since we're a bit more established now. Um,
Mm.
and we've had success with Disney. So I think um, hopefully it'll be a bit easier. And I do plan on reaching out to Netflix as that's our newest launch.
Okay. Now's the attention actually. Have you ever tried to fundraise directly for other charities, or like use your
Fundraise
platform?
through other charities. No, we haven't actually. We've partnered with some charities, some hearing loss charities, but no, we haven't funded through them.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Um, but yeah, have you ever been able to like have you ever met anyone who's directly benefited from it, like a parent or someone like that?
Not face to face, but we get, dozens of, I don't know, emails, Instagram DMs, videos of parents of deaf kids, dressed up in their costumes, watching their favorite film with Sign Up, which is just amazing to see.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting sort of road to go down. Yeah, I'd like to just sort of thank you for that and wish you the best.
No, thank you so much for speaking with me.
No problem. All right, take care.
Okay.